heat from sewers, tube, and Thames could soon warm London buildings. All right. This is encouraging, isn't it? This is nice. Westminster plan for UK's biggest heat network could involve Parliament warmed by waste and low carbon heat. I mean, like you read the headline there, you know, heat from sewers, tube, and Thames, right? I feel like they could have just said sewers and it would have also covered the Thames, you know? Because I feel like we all know how disgusting the Thames is these days, since they deregulated the water after Brexit when they couldn't get their hands on the chemicals quick enough. I feel like we all know how bad rivers are in the UK now. It's just piss and shit and untreated, just floating along there. Like, if you don't believe me, right, do you know this, right? Here's a fact for you. This will blow your fucking mind. Did you know there are legitimately fewer suicides now as a result of people jumping off bridges in London? And it's not because London rents and, you know, food and crime and all of that has suddenly got more manageable. People's lives aren't getting better and they're reevaluating, recalibrating. Oh, you know, maybe I'll stick around a little bit longer. It's because like, people are just not standing up on a bridge and considering jumping into Thames because the rivers beneath them are just this Hades of waste just flowing below with untreated sewage. You know, people are probably still stepping up there, you know, climbing up onto the bridge, and they're like, well, you know what, you know, I hate my life, and I do definitely want to die. I absolutely cannot take the endless, relentless, crushing pain of existence. But still, I mean, in terms of checking out unpleasantly, all I'm saying is me and Esther Ranson both want this to be done on our own terms. We would like to preserve some dignity, if at all possible. Please. I mean, it's a shame, really, because I do love London, but I feel like, you know, when you look down at that river and it's just glops and sloshes of shit and piss down there flowing through the city, you know, and you see Americans with their baseball caps on and Rain Max, and they're like, I love it here. It's so beautiful. You're like, uh-huh. Like, where did you come from? Where have you come from, Hank, to make you think that this is beautiful? But yeah, I'm not kidding, by the way. You should look that up. It's wild. Like, suicide stats, people jumping from bridges in London is way, way down. And they think that could be a contributing factor. You know, people are like, I'm just not sure I want a fucking turd in my eye, you know, just as I'm on my way out. I don't know if that's the last sight that I want to see, frankly. You know, you got people stood up there looking down at the sloshy piss and shit and sanitary towels. You know, they're certain that they want to check out, but they're saying to themselves, they're like, you know, I always imagined myself kind of sipping a glass of champagne on the balcony of the Coq d'Argent and then taking that step off and falling down there. You know, I had something different, something better in mind than this literal fall from grace. Take a leap off here and die with a mouthful of piss. Fuck me. It says about 1,000 London buildings, including the Houses of Parliament and the National Gallery, could soon be warmed by low carbon heat sourced from the River Thames, London Underground and sewer networks. And like, here's what I don't get, right? Is the sewer that warm? Do you know what I mean? Like, why would a sewer be especially warm in London? Like, without getting graphic, please. I mean, if there's a disgusting reason, which I think we can all imagine, maybe-ish, if it was reasonably fresh, then, you know, maybe could that be factored in? Is that where it's coming from? You know, are sewers particularly warm places? I mean, do you know what's funny? Is like, you know, here I am pre-recording this for you on Thursday night so that I can go out for a birthday meal, right, tomorrow night with my friends in London. Like, I'm out for a curry tomorrow night, right? So there is a fairly strong chance that I will order a madras, right? And my ass will be on fire. I'm going to have to nip out to the disabled bog, pull down my pants. I'm going to have to shit fire around their U-bend. And while I'm sat there in that generously spaced toilet with a starfish that could light a cigar, I might be watching this. I might be rewatching it, checking in on the live chat. And on here now, or like just, 50 seconds ago, it's like, are London sewers that warm? Are they? And meanwhile, like, future me will be like, well, actually, actually the mercury is set to rise quite substantially in the next 20 minutes. Aid. It says plans to develop the UK's biggest heat network to supply decarbonised heat to buildings across Westminster was set out on Wednesday by the government as part of its pledge to back 7 heat network zones with more than £5 million of public funding. Wow, okay. So it's quite interesting, really, the transition to net zero, renewables and all that. It says the plan will involve a network of pipes constructed to carry excess heat captured underground to power hot water and central heating systems in the area. The £1 billion scheme, I don't know who's picking up the rest of that tab then, 5 million of public funding is not much when you're talking a billion, is it? The £1 billion scheme will be developed by a joint venture, between heating specialists Hemico and Vital Energy, known as the South Westminster Area Network Partnership, designed to save the area about 75,000 tonnes of CO2 every year, the equivalent to planting 1.2 million trees. Wow. Okay, I mean, like, I was joking around before, but that's actually pretty cool, isn't it? Like, 1.2 million trees every year. I mean, think of all that dirty carbon dioxide, right? And now this is the equivalent of planting 1.2 million trees. Trees, guys. Breathing fresh air back into the atmosphere. Fresh, heaty, musky sewer heat air permeating through the corridors of your head office in London is what we're saying. Like, I don't know, have any of you guys in the chat or in the comments or whatever, have any of you guys ever worked in a basement office, like in London before? Because a lot of old sewer pipes are closer than you would imagine, closer than you would like to some of those old buildings, and especially their basement offices. Like, I remember working in Waterhouse Square, which is near Chancery Lane. It's the old Prudential building down that way. And we were in the basement, and fuck me gently, sometimes it fucking stank down there. It was awful. And it was the same thing when I was at Sky as well. Went to Sky for 5 years, 6 years, something like that. And these weren't cheap buildings, These were nice buildings and big billion-dollar companies, right? But they're just as enslaved to the Victorian sewers beneath them as anywhere else is. And it was fucking weird to work there in these billion-dollar glass fishbowl building corporations and be like, I work at Sky. Yeah, I work in their software engineering department. Yeah, we're working on virtual reality stuff at the moment. And yes, it's a lovely building and it's a billion-dollar company and they invest heavily in tech and innovation. Oh, it's an incredible company to work for. But no, this is my desk. And yes, I am sorry that it smells like somebody took a hangover shit in a bin on a hot day. Like, how do those two things go together? Like, you can bid £100 million for the Premiership rights, but you can't find me a fucking desk that doesn't smell like somebody ate out-of-date eggs for 5 days straight? Really? I bet Dermot Monaghan doesn't deal with this.